Singing it, mate. It's happening. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. I love it.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Welcome to the warm-up episode 54. Town are about to head into the festive fixtures, so we're going to do things a little bit differently on this one. I'm going to look at fixtures for the rest of the year and finish with a nice little Christmas quiz. Joining me, your host, Brady Frost, is a man whose last Christmas I gave him my heart, and the very next day he gave it away. It's Mr. James Whitaker. James, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. This year, to save you from tears, you'll have to give it to someone special.
Yeah, I thought you were going to do the David Wagner, because obviously that was a bit of a chant, but you have got Warney in the background.
Yeah.
Allegiance line. Very good stuff. And ready to step into Christmas and watch the snowfall forever and ever. It's Mr. Tom Bradshaw. Tom, how are you?
I'm not bad, Brady. And Warnock is actually with James today. That's not. That's an actual. He's actually there. It's not a photo.
All right, lads.
See.
Hello, Neil.
And we have an extra guest. So instead of the usual three, we've got an extra special guest who's driving home for Christmas. Apparently, one of his favourite Christmas songs, as I found out last night. It's Mr. Joe Scott. Joe, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. How are you? Yeah, it was a heated debate, but we thrashed out some things.
Yeah, you just couldn't wait to see the faces, could you? So I'll start with the Christmas songs. I mean, as well, what I will just say is, as we record this, games are getting cancelled left, right, and centre because of COVID in the Premier League and the Championship. So who knows what's going to happen? But we're going to preview the games for the rest of the year anyway. So just to do things a little bit differently, we're going to kind of review how the season's gone so far, because we're pretty much halfway. If the Bristol City game does go ahead, that will be 23 games, so we will be halfway through the season. Town are 10th in the league, 30 points from 22 matches. Rather interestingly, similar to last year, we were 12th with 31 points and 6 points off the playoffs, and we're also 6 points off the playoffs in this season. So, lads, how's the season gone for you? James, you were actually at the game at the weekend, so I'm going to come to you first. What have you kind of made of it so far?
Yeah, I think it's very contradictory, to be honest. I think that the league position's obviously much better than we all would have thought, I imagine. And in terms of, for a home fan coming back into grounds, it's been a great experience, especially with Magic Rock Brewing been available in the ground. So, there's been there's been some great performances against Reading and Blackburn. We've had some really entertaining football there as well. And as well against Everton in the Cup, I really enjoyed it just from a sort of fan point of view. It was just like a really enjoyable game where we really gave it a go. And then on the other hand, we've had some crushing defeats really to Fulham, the first home game, and Borough as well a couple of weeks ago. So we needed Magic Rock Brewing then too. But yeah, no, I think it's in terms of league position, it's been, we've done really well, and it's just I think my only concern would be we're just on a little bit of a bad patch now, and there's always that sort of spectre of last season, and we can't seem to just find that sort of consistency really. And I'm sure we'll come on to why, but so I think it has been a very contradictory season and played lots of different styles, and Although it's been a lot better overall than we would have thought, I think there's also signs to be a bit concerned as a Town fan as well.
Yeah, really good point. Joe, I saw you sliding your camera on the slide. I don't think we didn't notice that.
I thought I'd got away with it.
So there was, touching on what James said, there was some boos at Barnsley, and I think there was groans of frustration against Coventry. Do you think Town are in a bad way? I suppose the question is that we're all thinking is, do you think it's going to be a repeat of last season and we have a terrible second half?
I think boos are harsh, but groans of frustration are more than fair at times this season. I do like to be not positive all the time, but realistic. Like we have to appreciate we haven't spent much money, and I think we have to be realistic about where we're going to finish in this league and how we're going to do. But I think one thing we all would expect is a bit more heart in some of the performances. I think against Borough, and plenty of other games earlier on in the season, we just haven't looked at it at all. Like in the first 5-10 minutes, you kind of realise that where this game's going to go, and just looks like we don't know what we're doing. I think what I'd really like to see is us to eliminate those and at least look like we're trying, even if we're not doing our best. I think probably slightly disappointed overall because of the start we've had. That we didn't really sort of push on or at least maintain that. I think the frustration at the moment's fairly well justified. We just don't look at it somehow.
No, really good point. And Tom, what have you made? Because obviously you're a bit further away in terms of a geographical sense. Do you share the frustrations, or is this kind of what you expected?
I think what I was looking for this season was to have a season where I just wasn't stressing about Town. Do you know what I mean? And so far, we're kind of on the trajectory for that. But like you said, Brady, we were in a similar position last season, so it's like fingers crossed we don't kind of go into that nosedive again. But I also think this league this season, there's teams who are almost maybe destined to finish in that bottom three already. There's some bad teams this year. Like, I think we were not a very good team last year, and we've kind of become an okay team this year. So, and it's just might be nice just to have one of those seasons where we don't have to worry about anything at the end of the season, relegation or like worrying about promotion, that stressful kind of thing. So I'll take that, to be honest.
Yeah, you don't think, obviously, because we're not far off the playoffs, and I think maybe looking from the league from outside, there's clearly like two teams that are better, but everyone else sounds maybe excluding West Brom, everyone else seems kind of like in it. Do you not think Town are going to be one of those teams?
They could be though, couldn't they? I think so. West Brom, Fulham, and Bournemouth, they're top three. They're guaranteed top three for me. And then honestly, anyone from like Bristol City up could end up maybe sneaking in there. Bristol City Bristol City beat us or something. They end up, if they beat us by a lot or whatever, they could go above us on goal difference. It's like, that's how tight that league is. And are they 18th at the moment? So do you know what I mean? It's like, it could be really exciting, that playoffs this year, as in like anyone could end up going up, and it could be one of the most random promotions ever. So I mean, we could sneak in, but I just don't know. I mean, that's the thing. I don't know.
Fair. And I asked you all to have a look into the stats. I've just had a quick look. I'm going to come to you, James, because you said you were doing prep, but I was having a look at goals for and goals against, and XG for and XG against. Yeah, everyone loves the XGs. But we're actually on 0 goal difference. We've scored 25. We've conceded 25. Our XG for is 25.24, so about right. But our XG against is 26.43. So maybe, I know you can't use stats as everything, but maybe that suggests one of the big things while we're doing a bit better this season is the defence. But James, you'd also looked into the stats. You told me you'd done a little bit of prep. Is there anything you wanted to highlight?
Yeah, just following on from that, really, I think that the XG is up, and in terms of the start of the season in particular, I think that the only thing is that's been inflated quite a lot by some very good set pieces, which have now been worked out in December. So it's just, I think we're potentially a little bit inflated by that. I remember me and Joe went to the Reading game, and there was it 2 or 3 set piece goals in that game, and then Hull there was 2, and yeah, I think we were that good with set pieces, but it's one of them. It's a bit. I don't want to say like a goal's a goal, in it. You know, I don't want to say that. Oh, it doesn't. You know, it's still that hard work on the training pitch to come up with set pieces, but there's just a concern that it's just we're slightly covering up for deeper seated problems that we're not solving in terms of like creativity, and maybe that's coming back to bite us a little bit, and maybe that just did give us a sort of that sort of marginal gain from the set pieces, which has now sort of run dry a bit. So I think actually when you look at it from that point of view, as you said, Brady, we're nearly on an identical points tally and position, and really, if you if you take the set pieces out of it from that perspective, we're actually probably creating a bit less even than last season. Obviously, not having a player like Aitin, it's been much discussed, I think, by town fans and watchers of Town. So I think that'd be the slight worry, really. But I think overall we do look better balanced in terms of, like you said, conceding much less goals, and 8 wins, 8 losses and 6 draws is just overall sort of mid-table form. And I suppose that is just where we are. You can't massively complain about that. But it's just the fact we've lost so many points from winning positions in the last month that if you look at the stats, then we would have been in the playoffs. We would have been right up there. You know, it's Blackburn are right up there and beating them at home. And I don't think they're that much of a better team than us if you take out, like, for instance, you know, particularly their sort of goal scorer in Brereton Diaz. So yeah, I think it's a bit of a mixed picture overall in that respect.
No, that's a really good point. And what you touched on there, James, I'm going to come to you, Joe. Sorba Thomas, obviously, kind of, I don't know if you guys know, but he's playing non-league. Don't think anyone's ever mentioned that at any point. I'm going to keep mentioning that joke until it's dead. I mean, it's pretty much dead anyway, but I'm going to keep it away. We saw how effective his set pieces are. I was on BBC Radio Leeds with Glennon, just a little bit of a plug there. And he was saying,
hobnobbing with the stars.
Yeah, the true stars. No, we like Matt. We like Matt on here. He's been on before, and I'm sure he'll come on again if you stop insulting him. But Joe, Matt Glennon mentioned that Sorba's set pieces just aren't there anymore. Maybe that's part of, you know, teams wising up a bit as well. But do you think that's really affecting the team because it was so important at the start of the season?
I think it's probably fair. I've noticed it in his commentary as well that his corners haven't been, you know, maybe as dangerous as they once were. But it's probably harsh to expect him to do that all the time, every match, or else he probably wouldn't be with us, or he won't be much longer if he was doing that. But it's probably just a symptom of a wider issue with our team that we have ebbs and flows in the season, and at the moment we're just in a bit of a slow one. So yeah, I think it's a bit overly harsh to just blame one guy, but I have sort of been wanting a bit more from Sorba because of what he gave us right at the start. But yeah, I think just to sort of touch on what James was mentioning with the numbers and our defence improving, that's been one of the things I've liked most this season, that we've not looked so leaky and that we haven't had any of those horrible moments. Like I remember Cardiff away last season where we were trying to pass it out of the back and really forcing it, and just conceding really stupid goals like that. Like I can't think of that many times we've done that this season. So it's really nice that we've tightened that up. And I think we were talking at the weekend about Lee Nichols. Is he on 8 clean sheets or something?
Yeah,
like that?
8 clean sheets in 20 games.
It's pretty. I mean, I'd have taken that if you'd have offered that at the start of the season. So yeah, I think at least we've finally, after quite a few years, shored up our defence. That's super refreshing.
Yeah, no, really good point. And like Tom, we don't want to be too down. I know Town aren't doing the best at the moment, but there's been quite a few good moments this season. Has anyone stood out for you in particular?
There has, hasn't there? Yeah, I mean, Sorba has been class, especially their start season. You forget how young he is. I mean, he doesn't look young, does he? Do you know what I mean? What is he, 21, which is pretty mental. And so you can get a few more years out of him. He's obviously got the quality we've seen at the start of the season. So if he can carry on with that. And then this is my big tip that I'm really proud of. I said Lee Nichols was our sign of the season at the start of the season on the opening pod. And I think he has been. He's been absolutely class on it. He's just brought that bit more confidence to the defence. Everyone just seems a bit more trustworthy of him. And I feel sorry for Ryan Schofield because I think, was he thrown in a bit earlier in the championship? Maybe a lot of pressure on him to be like number one in a team that was battling at the bottom. So hopefully it's not kind of hindered his career or anything, and we will see him back and fighting for that place. But it's really good to have a goalkeeper that's just solid and you don't feel scared when he's got the ball at his feet or anything, even though on Saturday he passed it straight to their striker pretty much, didn't he?
Yeah, no, he's had a couple of them, but he seems to get away with it. Whereas I think, I mean, the immediate one I think of is with Schofield. Not that I'm trying to be harsh to the lad, but I immediately think of Fulham, where like Sorba Thomas back passes it and he kicks it straight at like Mitrovic. And Nichols have been a hell of a signing. James, has anyone stood out for you then? Anyone you're particularly impressed with? Just before I come to you, I've seen, and forget being top of the league, Lewis O'Brien is top of the championship with the most successful tackles with 61. So that's better than winning any trophy in my opinion. But
that's the real quiz, isn't it? I think that. Yeah, I mean, you say that actually, you've sort of led me down a certain path, but I think that Lewis O'Brien's sort of got to a point now where that's just completely expected of him. I actually don't think he's not stood out to me, maybe just because I'm so used to him being at like such a high level and being our best player. And I suppose that he's just continued to keep his standards very high. I think that he's got a lot of engine. He's got big engine in that midfield. Gets up and down. He carries the ball so well. Wins the ball high. It's I think that he's just been brilliant really. In terms of other players I've been impressed with, I might come on to it a little bit later, or well, I'm not sure yet. But I'm not sure who I'll actually go for yet. But I think I'm just teasing it. Yeah, I've been really impressed with Pearson. I think that we heard like a lot about how he might be able to, he's not going to be able to play it out like Maldini did. But I think that he's just been really solid, really organised. He can, if he has to play that longer ball down the line, he's happy to do it. And sometimes we just need that. And I think he's just really simple, no nonsense. It's nice to have someone sort of fairly local at least. And no, I think he's been really refreshing, really sort of wins headers, and just like looking back to the options we had at centre half last year with, like, no disrespect, but like Stearman and Keogh, it's just it's just a world away, isn't it? Really. So I think he's been one that's just been that's really stood out as well, just on a free, obviously. So I think. Yeah, just a really good signing. That he's one I've been impressed with.
No, definitely. And Joe, I mean, James talked about the defence there. I was having a look on the old Sofa score, and our top 3 rated players this season are Levi Cole, Will Tomlins, and Lee Nichols. And you talked about the defence earlier and how important that's been. But is there anyone else that stood out for you? I know I've led you on doing the classic journalism, like making you answer a certain way, but. Is there anyone else you've been impressed with this season?
I think an obvious mention for Sorba. Obviously, he's going to get all the plaudits for putting putting balls for people to get on the end of. But I think I'd follow a similar track to James and say the guys at the back, but I'd go for Tom Lees. I just think he's same as Pearson. He knows when to play it out and when to just deal with the problem and the danger and get rid of it. But I particularly noticed it in that game against Barnsley. He was just winning absolutely everything, and he was there for everything. And I just think he's been such a solid signing for us. But you could honestly pick anyone out of that back three, and then Naby, when he's filled in as well, he hasn't looked out of place at all. And to be honest, he's been really unlucky to not have more of a chance. But yeah, I'd go for Tom Lees, but honestly, you could pick anyone out of that back line.
No, really good point. I suppose the concerning thing, which, as we all know, following Town for many years, it's been a problem. It is goals and creating chances. I think you might have touched on it earlier, James, but they've been behind in 9 games this season and they've yet to win any of them. They've just drawn 1 and they've lost 8. So that's actually the second. The Birmingham have got the worst record in the league for that, but Town is second after that. Is that concerning for you guys? I mean, it'd be a bit silly if it wasn't. But Tom, are you a bit worried about that? Because I actually thought, from a positive, the goal for Coventry, we scored against Coventry, was actually really well worked and maybe one of the better goals we've seen this season in terms of play. But is it a concern that we're not really coming from behind to win?
Yeah, and I feel like that's been the case for a few seasons now, isn't it? I feel like we struggled to do that last year as well. And yeah, the goal against Coventry was great. It was a proper classic Danny Ward goal, wasn't it? The kind of edge of the box, first time hit, powering it in. And the build-up was great. But yeah, I don't know, Brady. I don't think it's lack of fight either. I honestly, I just don't think we have that kind of clinical finisher up front. That it's so annoying having Rhodes back, because you're always going to think of him as the guy who was at Town who you can maybe just rely on to kind of slot it away. So I'm kind of still in the mindset of when he's fully fit, he's going to be that guy that's going to come on in like the last 15, 20 minutes and maybe save us a point or win us 3. So yeah, it has got to improve that. And for me, the only way that can improve is that we've got to get something more up top.
No, that's really interesting. James, Tom mentioned Danny Ward there, but again, XG, love XG here. Danny Ward's got 5 goals, but his XG is a bit low. It's 4.95. I suppose the main thing, and this is an issue, and Tom touched on it, and I touched on it, was just not making that many chances. Do you think a striker? I know there's been a lot of talk of, you mentioned about Carol Eiting, we've not really replaced him, or I know some fans have said we need another striker. Do you think a midfielder or another striker solves that, or do you think it's more of a bit of a wider issue?
I think potentially. I think the stats that you mentioned are good for Ward. He's like outperforming XG, so he's actually created more chances than you would expect. So I think that one of the issues is as you say, it's getting the chances to him, but it's also like what you want from a striker. And I think Town fans are of the more traditional football fan, and I think I probably would count myself as part of that, where it's like the striker, you get them in, they score goals. You don't just get a striker to run about for 60 minutes, then you put another one on and see what happens. Whereas I think Carlos is more of that mind, isn't he? That the striker is kind of maybe a bit like what Bamford does for Leeds, where it's like, you know, in the Championship he missed loads of chances for Leeds, and they all hated him, didn't they? And I think that maybe that's kind of what Carlos sort of wants from a striker in that kind of system. Whereas, you know, so it's always going to be a little bit of a thankless task. You know, Ward's running channels, he's getting battered by defenders, he's up front on his own, he's 70 yards away from anyone else. And same when Campbell comes on. So it's like, even if you have, you know, Andy Booth up there, for instance, the greatest striker ever, then you're not going to be able to do much if you're not getting anyone close to him. But Yeah, I think it's. Yeah, I think definitely we need to get more players nearer to him, more sort of. Sometimes just get it sort of into the box and not just like aimlessly getting it forward, but sometimes
Get it in,
get
box.
get it in,
Get it forward.
get it forward. So I think it's just, I think like against Coventry, I think there were a couple of times where on a counter attack they would not take that chance, they'd not take the opportunity, and they'd pass it back. And there was the old Gal Farm groan. But I think and I was part of that. But it is frustrating. You want to see like when you 1-0 up and there's an opportunity to counter attack, you want to go forward. And you'd watch Swansea and not Swansea, Swansea, Coventry, and you're thinking of Mark Robbins, who's a manager we've literally had before, who's just putting direct balls into wingers who are just getting over every time. And yeah, they could have had 4 or 5 if they'd have had the shooting boots on. So I think it's just when you see the difference, it is quite galling, really. And I know Coventry have done well this season, but it's just a little bit frustrating that we just potentially seem to want to overplay a little bit and not just do like the simple things, maybe a little bit better balls down the side. We've got like quite quick wingers, and even like I think I came on the preview pod for the Middlesbrough game, and they had very slow defenders, and at no point did we just put a ball over the top and just get Sorba running onto it, or Koroma running onto it, or one of the faster forwards running onto it. And whenever we do that, we do actually seem to be able to make things happen. So yeah, that is a little bit of frustration for me. I think we do need to create more for the strikers and maybe just let the striker focus on scoring goals. Or the midfielder's going to have to do it. Someone's going to have to do it.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. And I think, sorry.
No, I was just going to say it's strange because at the beginning of the Carlos era, we were that team that would hit people quickly. Would win the ball back and then go. And what's changed? Maybe he's still manager, but I think particularly in that Coventry game, we saw it where we were missing out on opportunities by not taking the risk to get it up forward quickly, not just lumping a ball up blindly, but like you're saying, play it over the top, play it down the side. Someone run after it.
But it suits the squad as well. Like O'Brien, he's a great ball carrier. Like that's one of our big sort of positives really, was that we are able to sort of counter attack. That's what we did really well under the Cowleys and then under Carlos as well. So it is a frustration, I think.
Yeah. I was Dave Hartrick. It's interesting what you said then. I was listening to the Via pod, and Dave Hartrick made a really good point about Barnsley and the Coventry games, where obviously against Barnsley we went straight through the middle. Koroma did that pass to O'Brien, we score. Koroma has that shot that hits the bar, and then we don't do it again. And it was quite similar with Coventry. We made that good move, scored a great goal, and then we didn't do it again. So Joe, I think this is a bit of an interesting one. I know Twitter's never the best for shall we say rational opinion at times, but I was quite surprised how many people were saying Carlos out. What are your thoughts on that? I think we've talked about it before. I know we don't think he's perfect, but what are your thoughts on Carlos? Do you think he is under pressure?
I'd say potentially he is, just because you've got people booing and ringing in radio leads and saying they want to get rid of him. I think that's unjustified, though, to be honest. I think we're not on that bad a run to be calling for someone to leave, and given that he doesn't have a ton of resources, I think he's done really well with what he's got. Yeah, we're inconsistent, but he's a young guy and he's obviously still learning. So I think it's incredibly unfair. And I think he's definitely got potential to help us punch above our weight. We saw that at the start of the season, and I think he's got the potential to bring us back there and do it again. I'd also just like to see Town stick with a manager for a prolonged period of time. Like we went so long cycling through managers. I think it would be nice to give someone a chance and have a go. So yeah, I think it's harsh. I don't know where it comes from though. I'm wondering if it is our time in the Premier League that's set some people's expectations a bit higher. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's unfair though. I think he's doing a good job with what he's got. But yeah.
Interesting. Tom, do you agree or disagree with thoughts on Carlos? Obviously, I'm using this podcast to, controversial opinions.
I do agree with Joe, but I think we kind of touched on it before recording. I think for me anyway, I've not kind of connected with Carlos as a manager, whereas the managers we've had before, I actually kind of felt like I don't dislike Carlos, but I'm kind of like, yeah, whatever about him. Like, whereas, I mean, Saint Wagner, I think maybe it's like the ghost of Wagner past is like always haunting whoever gets this job for the next few years anyway. But even like Seaver and the Cowleys, I just liked them as people anyway, and they just came across. And I'm not saying Carlos comes across as a bit of a dick, but like he's I don't know, I'm just a bit non-fussed about him, and I wonder if that's kind of maybe why people are starting to get a bit tired of it, and because maybe there isn't that connection there that we've had in the past. So I'm with Joe, like on the sense of it would be good to give a manager a bit of spell. We're not in the bottom three. We're not losing every week. Let's have a bit of stability for a bit. But maybe if he tells a few jokes or something in his press conferences, I might warm to him a bit more.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. I think that's probably part of the reason for it. I think that's bang on.
Yeah, you talked about the ghost of Wagner, Tom. I mean, he's in your background. And I'm also going to, tweet out that out of context clip where you said Corberan's a dick.
Yeah, fair enough.
Just before we move on to actually talking about the games, James, what are your thoughts on Mr. Corberan? Are you a fan? It's clear that you want Warney until the end of the season.
Well, I was just thinking that it's funny you should say that. Town fans are not really connecting to Carlos, because me and Tom are sat here with backgrounds of two former Town managers behind us, who we obviously have connected with on some level, quite a lot, I think. So I think it is important. I think you do like to. You kind of like to know that the guy that's steering the ships, he's got something about him. And I think I'm not saying Carlos doesn't, but he just comes across as very intense and very sort of matter of fact. And I think, there's a lot of gesticulating. There's a lot of angry sort of shouting, which, to be fair, there is where I sit as well, from me. So I'm not going to go at that. It's just that it's just not. He is a little bit hard to warm to. So I think that potentially is why. I think that maybe Carlos has kind of come under fire now that the former, well, no, he's still owner, but the owner's kind of moved out of the picture a little bit with the recent sort of his company's going into administration. So I think that he used to be a bit of a lightning rod for criticism, but now it's not really. I think Town fans at least accept that it's not really fair to kick him on when he's down, so we'll go and have a kick at Carlos instead. But having said that, I think that obviously, as I said, my heart says like I am the football recently. I've not massively enjoyed. I didn't enjoy the Coventry game. We were 1-0 up and I wasn't enjoying myself. And I think a lot of people would say that, and it just didn't feel right. And I think that that's a very sort of subjective thing, because I completely accept what Joe said. Like, my mind says, yeah, of course Carlos needs to stay. He's needs to give a good shift, needs some stability for the club. He's not done badly. But then my heart's like he's also quite frustrating, and it's just quite. So as you can see, I'm very conflicted. But I think that means that he has to stay for now.
I remember there was a time earlier on in his reign where it was like, under the Cowleys, I hated watching Town, and honestly, if we went a goal down, I'd likely just switch off or do something else, because there was not a cat in hell's chance we were ever going to score a goal to get back in it. And then when Carlos took over, it was exciting, and I used to proper look forward to watching Town matches again. But something's obviously changed, right? Because it's not the same. We are pretty negative now, I'd say.
Yeah,
I don't know
we
why.
are negative.
Something's obviously changed. I don't know if he doesn't think the personnel are good enough to just absolutely go for it all the time or what. But yeah, I think something needs to change, and hopefully it's Carlos's mentality rather than all else. But yeah, I'm not completely defending him here. I just want to make that clear.
Right,
I think
Joe.
it's a shame because it's like you said, Joe. I think that I was saying, that Blackburn game that I watched, that was one of the most entertaining games of football I've watched like in ages. Like a 3-2 at home against like what now turns out to be sort of top playoff side. Like that was a great game. I really enjoyed that. And then it's just all the different shades that we get, isn't it? Really,
Yeah.
it just seems to come in flashes.
Yeah,
And then
it's
go.
like it is different teams every week. Like I said, look, thinking back to that Blackburn game, yeah, did they bring it back twice and we still went on to win?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I mean, I know Coventry scored right in the last minute, but if Coventry had have equalised like 5 minutes later last Saturday, I would have thought that's it. The way we were playing that day, but like you said, against Blackburn that night, it was a different team. It was like different manager. It's weird, isn't it? I mean, I guess the fact that we almost, I don't know, our goal difference last season was disgraceful in the second half of the season, and maybe that's kind of spooked him a bit and made him think, right, this year I need to be more conservative and try tighten it up a bit, and that's the change. But I don't know. I'm with Joe. Give him time.
Yeah, we're all wearing our chinos. I think it's fair to say as well, like we had Justin Peach on here. Tom, you were on that pod, and he made the good point, like, and it's always good to hear an outsider perspective, I think. And he said, you know, if Carlos if we spent 2 million or 1 million on a striker, would be actually doing a lot better. You know, all our signings have been frees or loans, just because that's the type of club we are, you know. So I think, I don't know, not that I'm, you know, being a fan is very emotional. You don't want to, like, you know, I'm not telling people can't feel how they feel. People are entitled to their feelings, but sometimes I think it is good to have a bit of a, like, maybe a reality check. You know, it could be worse. We saw how crap it was last season. Let's be honest, that was grim. As someone who's had to do the preview pods and no one would come on because we'd won like twice in 20 odd games. So it has definitely been worse. But we'll move on because we do have games to preview. So we've got 3 games left in 2021. Got Bristol this weekend if it goes ahead. Blackpool at home on Boxing Day and Nottingham Forest away. Yeah, we're on a bit of a bad run. Tom, how are you feeling about it? Do you think we can get some points from this? Because it looks like winnable games on paper.
Oh, on paper, Brady, Bristol City. When do we ever win at Bristol City? So I've got that down as a loss straight away. Blackpool at home. I actually was really impressed when I watched Blackpool play us at their place. I thought they were good, but they're on a pretty terrible run, which also probably means that it'll be that game where they're on the turn and they get their first win in like 4 or 5, whatever it is. And then Forest are up there, aren't they now? Forest have turned it around. Steve Cooper. It's not easy. It's not easy on paper, I don't think, Brady. Do you want me to tell you how many points you think we'll get, or are you going to ask that in a minute?
Well, let's just pack the pod in now, mate. Bloody hell. Can I get some positivity? No, go on then. Do you think 0? Wow, then.
No, I think we'll get 4 points in the next 3 games. I think we'll draw one of the away games and we'll beat Blackpool at home.
Nice. Okay, James, feeling more positive or equally as downbeat?
I'm to be honest, I did some prep last night and I've just completely disagreed with my own prep. Because I just feel like that's the kind of team we are this season. But I think that we've got like there 3 fixtures there that if we, and it seems maybe a bit obvious and a bit of a cliche to say, but if we are going to turn it around, then we need to get to get sort of something, winning a good performance, ideally, in at least one of them. And then I think I agree with what Tom said. Like, we never seem to do well at Bristol City. I don't know whether it's long trips. Just I don't know. And it's something about long trips. I don't know. I'm convinced that it's just we never. Maybe in London, yeah, we win in London, but can't remember last time we won at like a Bristol or somewhere anywhere on the south coast. I actually can't remember it. So yeah, not confident. Might get a draw, a push, and then I think I'm quite confident for Blackpool just because we've beaten them already away, like quite convincingly. Although maybe scoreline slightly flattered us, but quite confident for that one. And then I think Forest will be a tough game, although we've got a decent record there over the years as well. I'm quite tempted to go to that one as well. Well, maybe not actually, but I'd have to leave work. Early, so I can't. Depends what I can say on record. But
talks himself out of his notes, and then he talks himself out of going to a town game.
I know. Well, yeah. Well, yeah. So no, I kind of fancy the Forest one, but I don't know. They seem to have kind of sorted themselves out as well. So I think that'll be a tough game. So I think, as I say, it's the fixtures we need to be getting 4 points from, really, like Tom said. And if we're not doing that, then we are back on a slide, and it is very sort of tight in the middle, as the cliche goes. So we'll be dropping down the table very quickly if we don't pick up any points over these 3 games.
Yeah, you talked about talking yourself out of it. Tom, I've been in the pub with James at Magic Rock, who sponsored this episode, dropping that in there. And he talked himself into going to Peterborough away, and then within 2 minutes talked himself out of it, and then back into going, but then doesn't go. I mean, fair enough. It was Tuesday night.
I didn't go.
Yeah.
Again, that was another one I'd have to find a way to leave work early. With the obviously really good reason that you've got to travel to Peterborough on a Tuesday night to watch a bit of a rubbish football team, yeah. And the trains were 60 quid or something. Oh, yeah, so well done to all the town fans who went.
Yeah. I'm sorry, not trying to dob you in. I feel like this is, I hope you don't listen to this, James.
Yeah, no, I do it like I was saying, actually, I think it's like a family thing. Because my dad always used to do that, go to the pub after the game, and they'd be right, are we going to Bristol then? Just be after 1 win, it's right, are we going then? No matter how far it is. Then obviously you wake up, it's I'm definitely not going. Yeah.
Yeah, no, we've all been there. I mean, let's be honest, if we win against Bristol, we'll probably be going to Forest and maybe Blackburn.
Yeah,
but we will see. Joe, how are you feeling about this run? Are you going to bring the positivity, or no? Okay.
I'm going to be a pure realist. Same as Tom and James. I think we're going to get 4 points. That's what I had written down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we'll lose away at Bristol. I just can't in my lifetime remember a time we've got anything there. I think we'll win at home to Blackpool and then draw away at Forest, but I'd take 4 points from it, to be honest, because I think it is quite a tough little run. And I wouldn't say our team's well rested at the best of times. So I think three games like that in quick succession is going to be tough. So yeah, I'd be happy with 4 points.
Yeah, I'd also, not that we were sharing notes, I'd also put 4 points for this. I think we just need a win. I know what the fan base can be like. I think we're all critical. I was certainly not happy watching that Coventry game because it just felt predictable. But I just think if we do get a win, it doesn't matter. To use a classic Warnock, as soon as he's there in the background, could be a certain body part in the 91st minute. It doesn't matter. I think I just think if we get a win, I think the mood will change because I don't know about you guys, not that I follow loads of other clubs in the Championship, but I do feel like maybe it's all football fans, but a win just changes everything, doesn't it? You just feel a little bit better about stuff. Like you talked about, James, you win and suddenly you're willing to drive to Bristol, even though it'll take you 5 hours or whatever.
Yeah, and I don't drive, so that would be
We'll get there somehow.
Especially in this league as well, Brad. It's like if we win, we're back in playoffs. But like if we go down to Bristol and do a standard town in Bristol, lose 4 or 5-0, they'll go above us. You know what I mean? It's like it's that mental this league this season. You are so up and down with like your optimism and stuff. So
yeah.
Think of the weekend, Brady. You reminded me how close we were to the teams below us. Like I was thinking, we've racked so many points already. We'll be sound them within like 2 weeks. We're already like we could be going down if we have 3 back.
Very true, very true. I think it was just oh Joe, we watched that Coventry. Yeah, let's not talk about that. I think we were just both like, well, anyway, because there's 3 games, if they go ahead, obviously we normally pick a key player. Who's kind of, you know, it could be someone you think is going to be really crucial in these games. I think there's been a lot of talk about squad rotation, maybe players we want to see. Who's kind of picked their key player? Tom, I'll come to you. Who have you singled out?
For me, it's as in key player. I want someone to kind of step up a bit more than they have. And he got the assist against Coventry, but I do think he's just been a bit off the last few games, and it's Harry Toffolo for me. He's just looked a bit, I don't know. He's not that no one ever doesn't try when they're on the pitch, but sometimes he's been beaten a bit easily, and the ball's got in the box very easily. The crosses come across, and when he first came last season, especially last season, I thought he was immense. This season he started all right, and he's just kind of teetered off a little bit. So for me, I just want Harry Toffolo to kind of step it up a bit, because for me he's a good leader, and I mean he gets up that pitch and he creates stuff. So that's my key player for these next 3 games.
I think that's a really good shout. I think people have made a good point how he doesn't look as good enough when we play 3 at the back, whereas obviously he was playing quite well when we were in a 4. So maybe again we might see some formation changes in this one. So that's a good shout, because we might return to a 4 and he might do better. James, who have you singled out for this run? Anyone you think? Any interesting choices? Someone like a super sub, or someone who's going to force their way into the starting 11?
No, I've got someone who plays every week. I've gone for Wardy, Danny Ward. So I think that he's had a good season, to be fair, so far. I think that's fair to say compared to last season, definitely. Not saying a lot, but he's got the highest info goal match rating. So it's a kind of like accumulation of all his shooting, he's creating the chances, passing into and moving the team into dangerous positions, all that kind of thing. So that's good. But I think that just generally you can just see he's working really hard. He's been amongst the goals as well, like a few good finishes, like the one against Coventry on Saturday, which I really enjoyed. He came over and sort of to where I sit. So it was just really good goal, really good sort of celebrations. I think he's been asked to do a lot. I've kind of alluded to it already, and I wanted to talk about it, but I thought I'd say that he's he has been asked to probably do a little bit too much in terms of he's kind of like a 9 and a 10 all at once, and it's for me it is a little bit too much to ask of him. I think that when he has had chances, he's missed a couple, but I think generally he's not been so bad really, and I think that he's linked play really well. He's flattened by defenders every week, usually with a 3 at the back. It is a bit of a thankless task being played up front for Town in the Carlos system. I hope that, but then again, I hope that the goal against Coventry can be a bit of a boost for him. I know he worked. I know we always say this about forwards at Town, but he works really hard, even if he doesn't score every week. But he came back over the summer with the lowest body fat percentage, Stephen Chicken was saying. So I think that's impressive to me due to non-footballing reasons. But I think that I think that you just really hope he can push on now with that goal, and I think it's 5 for the seat. Takes his tally up to 5, which is not bad really, given that we've not created loads and loads of chances for him.
Yeah, no, good shout. And as we talked about earlier, not had many chances. Seems to be hitting his XG with goals expected. So I think
Yep.
that's a good pick. Joe, who've you singled out as your key man?
Pretty obvious one, but I think if we are going to do well, he's going to have to be the guy that drags us through it. Lewis O'Brien. I think he didn't have the hottest start to the season after looking really good for us. But I think the last couple of games, I've really noticed him picking up the ball and driving us up the pitch, which is what we've lacked. Almost like he's looking around and saying, "Well, if no one else is, I'm gonna do it," and he's getting hacked down, and you just love to see that sort of passion and energy from someone. And obviously, there was your fantastic stat about the tackling that I didn't know. So yeah, I think if we're gonna get anything from these games, he's going to be right at the center of it.
Yeah, my fantastic stat, as you said there, Joe, 61 successful tackles in the championship. Yeah, no, I'd pick Lewis, just because I think we're joking about the tackling, but genuinely in the Coventry game, I thought he intercepted the ball quite a lot. Not that we created a lot, but he often does a role that you don't notice, but I particularly noticed it in that game. So I think that's a really good shout. But if I'm going to have to go for something different, I think this is an opportunity to bring some people off the bench. I think it's getting a bit predictable with Carlos's changes. Ollie Turton, 60 odd minutes, Fraser Campbell for Danny Ward. So we saw him on the bench. Joe, you were watching the game and unfortunately had to listen to me moaning in your ear. I'm gonna go for it. I had picked Lewis, but I wonder if Jordan Rhodes is going to have a bit of an impact over these 3 games. 20 minutes to go. If I was Carlos, not that I am, shock there, but yeah, I wonder if you put him on instead of Campbell, just because I think if we do just pump it in the box, that's where Rhodes can do damage. Obviously, he was on the bench. He's coming back into form. He's played a couple of B team games. I think he could be one to watch, really. Also, I want to see. I know I'm going a bit off topic on my own thing. I want to see John Russell a bit more. I've been impressed whenever I've watched him. I picked him. Big John, exactly. Well, not to be. I know we like to pretend we're analysts here, but our midfield is quite small. I think Russell can offer something, and he's looked quite impressive when I watch some B team games. There's quite a few options actually. So I suppose I'll come to you, Tom. We saw quite a few. Russell got a goal in the B team game. So did Danny Grant. And I forget who the other person got the goal. Was it Meepo?
Was it Harrett?
It was Harrett. Yeah, I think it was. Well done, James. Bailing me out there. But Tom, is there anyone you want to see in terms of squad rotation? Because we have players coming back. Pieper, Aaron Rowe, Rhodes is back.
Yeah, Aaron Rowe and Pieper. It's nice to see Aaron Rowe back because at the end of last season, I thought he was doing really well. Pieper's going to bring a totally different side to this squad. That's going to be great. It's going to put just a bit more intensity into it. Everyone's going to pick more fight for the spaces and stuff. But yeah, Danny Grant for me. I don't know what it is about him. Town fans seem to love him already, even though he hasn't kicked a ball for first team kind of thing. Everyone's kind of begging for him to start, and I don't know what it is. He just kind of. I don't want. Maybe it's just a bit of weird hype, and I don't want to hype him up or anything. But it's just got kind of that Shane Long kind of feel to him. Irish lad coming over from the Irish leagues to championship team. Who knows what's going to happen? Do you know what I mean? And from the videos of where he was before, he can finish, can't he? So I'd love to give him a chance. For those rotations. And then, like I said earlier, Jordan Rhodes, come on, Rhodes. What? Because they popped up the stat of the championship all-time scorers, not the second division all-time scorers. And Rhodes is only like 6 or 7 off Billy Sharp. So come on, Jordan.
JR9.
Yeah.
Exactly. As everyone's calling him up.
No, Danny Grant's a really good point because I think we were discussing this the other week, Joe, but when you look at him and Sorba, when we initially signed him, everyone's excited about Danny Grant because he played in the Europa League with Bohemians. I spoke to Bohemians like fan podcasts, and they were singing his praises and saying he can definitely kick on. Obviously, he's been really unfortunate with COVID and injury. So it's a good point. Joe, who do you want to see a little bit more from, or in terms of the squad, who do you think can make an impact?
Probably kind of going to echo Tom. Actually, I was going to say first on my list was Danny Grant. The reasons you just said, Brady. When we first signed him and Sorba, I was way more excited about Danny Grant being the one. I thought he was going to change things for us, and he's just been unfortunate. But I think Pieper is probably going to be the most important one to come back because he just gave us something so different last season. He was so dangerous. If people are worrying about Toffolo on one side and then they've got Pieper charging forward and doing ridiculous stepovers and bits of skill on the other side, I just thought he was amazing. So I'm super excited for him to come back, and Vallejo as well. I think he was proven to be really, really important for us in midfield. I think we've missed him hugely since he's been injured. So probably those three, but I'd go with Danny Grant overall just because we haven't seen him in the first team yet, and he's obviously getting back at it now with the B team. So hopefully it won't be too long before we see him on the bench and getting integrated into the team.
Yeah. See, it's not all doom and gloom, listeners. We do have some positives. James, are you going to keep the positive train going? Anyone you think can make an impact over these three?
Yeah. Choo choo. So I've gone for Josh Ruffles, who I just briefly confused with John Russell. Sounds really similar. I got really confused for a second then, but I'm told they are different players. But yeah, two fringe players, similar names. He's so I think it's a bit of a funny one with him because he's another one who's had COVID, and by all accounts, he was one of League One's best players last year. 12 goals and assists from left back. He's getting. He's getting really far forward with Oxford in a kind of possession attacking style. So it's not like he's come from a sort of set of Football League cloggers and needs to massively adjust. It's a bit of a funny one that we haven't seen more of him, really. I think that, as Tom mentioned and Joe's mentioned as well, Toffolo's forms dipped and Sorba's forms dipped a little bit as well. So I think that you could sort of put him even in like the three-man midfield where we are a bit short in midfield, or even as a sort of left midfielder or a left wing back and do something else for Toffolo. Just give him a rest, really. He's played over 40 games in the last 5 seasons, so I can't imagine he's happy sort of sitting on the bench, and I imagine he's raring to go, really. So I think that's a little bit of a strange one. We've not seen more of him. And I know there was rumours linking him with Wednesday, which would be very weird. But yeah, I think that's one we need to see more of, really. So I'd hope that Carlos looks to rotate the squad and gives him a bit more of a chance.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, James, because didn't most of his goals as well last season, weren't they headers from set pieces, which you think are one of our main threats this year has been set piece headers, corners and stuff like that. And they've kind of dried up a bit. Why don't you throw someone else new in the mix and see what he can do? I thought that about him, and I have been a bit disappointed that I've not seen a bit more of him. Yeah,
I think that like you said, that's completely true. And as well, I was just thinking with the midfield, we're all a bit short, and if you just put a guy in who can win a header, he just gives us that bit of breathing space to be able to win the ball back. Because I thought that against Coventry, the most worrying thing at times was we couldn't even keep possession. We couldn't seem to win the ball back. So I think that, it is very sort of British traditionalist football, but I do still think you need a little bit of height in midfield, centre midfield. You can't just have like 3 really short guys. But
if we brought him, he certainly deserves like a fair crack, doesn't he, as well?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think so. I think then again, we're going over like how many left footers now? Remember the Cowleys where we had like no left footers apart from Lewis, and now we've got like 4 in the one team. Yeah,
sounds like you've got an agenda. Anyway, well, because I'm left-footed as well. So
yeah, so am I actually. What is anyone else left-footed?
Well, I'm left-handed.
No, I'm right-footed.
You're left-handed but right-footed, Joe.
Yeah, proper weird.
That's insane.
Hey,
Like,
I'm left-footed,
right,
but
I'm
right-handed.
back right-handed as well in
And
cricket.
you're right-handed, Brady.
Yeah.
I'm full on left.
Oh yeah,
So that means I'm gonna like die 10 years before everyone else as well, apparently.
What?
that's about it.
When do you think this podcast is gonna get
Google it.
Is that 'cause you-
Left-handers.
Is that because you've told everyone now and people know to like attack you from the right or something?
Yeah.
Anyway, didn't expect death to be brought up and life expectancy. I wonder what the life expectancy of a town fan is. Anyway, we'll move on because it's time for a return to the Mac.
Christopher Schindler has a chance to write his name in Huddersfield Town legend. De Plata's got the better. Yeah! And Laurent De Plata scored! What a goal, Aaron Moy! An absolute thunderbolt delivered all the way from Australia!
Return to the Mac. Okay, so Tom, you bloody lefty. Who are you picking for return to the Mac?
Oh, brilliant. I get to go first. So I've never picked him, and obviously someone has picked him before. And I feel like James is going to pick him today because he's already mentioned him. And I'm sorry, James, if I'm taking your return to the Mac, but I'm going Andy Booth. I'm going big guns.
Big guns.
Booth. Yeah, there he is in the background.
There he is.
James.
Oh. Why Booby for this run, Tom? I mean,
Just because I want to win the poll, basically, Brady. So
cooking the books when it comes to the
no, like we were saying earlier, get it in box, and Boovy'll get his head on end of at least one of them, won't he? So there we go.
Well, Neil Warnock described him as the best header in English football, I believe.
I was quite young, so I don't know if my memory is just playing tricks on me, but I'm sure I saw him score a header from outside the box once. It was against like Southend at home, and I could have just been young and misremembering it, but I'm sure he scored a header from outside the box.
I was just going to say as well, I think Neil Warnock also said he was in effing Latvia.
Is that in that video where Boovy looks well cold, doesn't he? And he's like shivering in the corner.
I think I heard them. I watched I can't remember which it was, but it's all on YouTube, like one of the old Town documentaries. And Boovy thought he was coming off. You know that bit where he goes, "Go and have a bat, son. Go and have a bat." I think Boovy thought he was coming off, like, but Warnock was just kind of saying, "You're going to be cold, aren't you?" I think he was kind of saying, "You've not done enough running."
Yeah.
But Boovy thought he was coming off, so he started putting himself under the shower. If you watch it, and then he has to go back out with like a wet shirt.
Like it's like the Sheffield United documentary, James, that we watched over lockdown again. And what does Warney say to Danny Cadamartri? He's like, "Get a bath, Danny, because it's not fucking started."
Making me feel sick just looking at you, Danny.
Okay. So number one is Andy Booth. Number two, James, what are you going for?
Number 2 is Andy.
Can't I just put 4 Andy Booths out?
yeah, we all be.
Which Andy Booth?
Back of Andy Booth.
Best fan ever.
No, I really like that choice for obvious reasons. But no, I've gone for Michael Collins.
All right.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Nice.
Had a really good spell at Town. In that sort of what I always think of as like the FA Cup era, where we did like absolutely nothing in the league, but we were always like really like a
That's
cup
good.
team, but
I
in
like
League
that.
One. Yeah. So obviously, scored a few goals from midfield, including one against Jose Mourinho's Chelsea, and I think
For half
that
time.
I think that given the injuries we've got in midfield, I think that I had to go with a centre mid, and then just in terms of us being a little bit short of goals, I think we had to go with a goal scoring midfielder, especially since, as you said, the strikers are more like pressing runners really. So I think Michael Collins would be a good choice. I've heard that he had a brief spell as manager somewhere up the M62, but I don't think we need to discuss that any further.
Fair enough.
I love Michael Collins.
Yeah.
I don't know, in my head, I've always got him, like Joe said about Booby scoring from the edge from halfway line or something like that, with an header. I always remember he scored a goal against Scunthorpe, and in my head, he dribbled past basically the whole team and slotted it away.
Michael Collins was amazing. He was amazing. Absolutely loved him.
Well, Joe, can you top Andy Booth or Michael Collins? Did you see the synchronised pint drinking from Tom and James? That's me. Who are you going for, Joe?
I'm going for Benny Kafobe. When he was with us, I absolutely loved him, and I think we could do with some. I haven't seen much of him nowadays, so I don't know quite how he does now. But I think one who's threat in the air, threat on the ground, who's big, powerful, and fast. I think he'd just be perfect for us. And yeah, very fond memories of him knocking one in at Tranmere away and doing the sprinkler in the corner. Yeah, absolutely.
I remember Benny Kafobe came on against Sheffield Wednesday, did 94 keepy-uppies and then volleyed it in the top corner, I think, Joe, if I remember correctly. Something like that.
It would be funny if we signed him back and then kept Rhodes out of the team again.
No, that would be good. Oh, I did love Benny Kafobe. It was great. The Arsenal connection, because some people know a lot of my family are Arsenal fans, so thought he's at Millwall now, isn't he? As you one of you shouted Millwall. So as I say, we like to sign former players. Let's get him back.
I loved him. Yeah,
that's what we all call Brady the Arsenal connection.
I'm already struggling to. We're only 3 in, and I'm already struggling to decide who I'm voting for, and it's one of my votes. So, I don't know who you're putting in there, Brady.
Well, because obviously I can't pick the same person, and because this is covering 3 games, I'm going big guns here, lads. He's got no hair, but we don't care. See and don't know. It's Aaron Moy. I'm just going for Aaron Moy because, just best player I've ever seen.
I had him down, but I scribbled him out because I was like, he's been our best player in the last 20, 30 years. That's just
podcast.
You've not picked Aaron Moy yet, Brady. That's insane if you've not picked Aaron Moy.
I've not picked Aaron Moy yet because then it's like, who do you go for afterwards? And then what I normally do is someone picks someone amazing, and then I'll just go, Jason Davidson. Because then I'm going to lose. But yeah, I think we've all gone big guns. So I'm going Aaron Moy because, listeners to the pod will know Matt is willing to drive to China and kidnap him to bring him back and get him to sign for Town. Yeah. I think I'd be the same. I think all of us on the pod would be the same. Aaron, I know you definitely don't listen to this, but, you might be enjoying the millions you're getting in China. But I tell you what you do fancy. You probably fancy Bristol City away, don't you? On a Saturday, freezing cold.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd bring Aaron Moy back. I mean, we can go into detail and talk about how much we loved him, but yeah, just an amazing player who I'd love back.
Different gravy, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Just looking at how far Shanghai is away.
How long does it say it would take to drive, James?
I'm just bringing it up now.
I'm gonna say, this is a good quiz game. How long do you think?
Nearest the pin. Let's do nearest the pin.
You're just sorry. Can I just ruin it now?
Go on.
Just as sorry, we could not calculate driving directions from Huddersfield to Shanghai, China. Oh, sorry, we cannot calculate walking directions either.
Walking directions.
Then get a flight from Manchester. It's going to take 16 hours.
Is it worth
$4 grand? There's Mac $4 grand apparently.
$4
Yeah.
What does it cost? Moy probably makes that in 5 minutes out there now, doesn't
it? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's people do GoFundMe's, don't we? Let's if we're gonna do one thing on this pod, let's get a GoFundMe for us to go kidnap Aaron Moy. It's all right. Okay, maybe we should move on. This gets used in a court of law as evidence. we normally do You're the Boss. We talked about players we want to bring in. Is anyone just wanting to add? We talked about points predictions, how we think we're going to get over. I feel like we're kind of wrapping up, but is anyone going to do anything differently for these 3 games? Tom, you're not shaking your head now.
I'd just do the same. Whatever. 4-4-2 or something. I don't know, Brady.
Hand up. You had your hand up, Joe?
Oh no, I was just echoing Tom, just like, nah, send them out.
Yeah. Put your shirts on, get out there. Do what's the one, Brady? And wish you and enjoy it in here or whatever. What's that one? It's like, yeah, discipline. That's
I want you ready in about a minute, lad.
Oh,
I wouldn't mind seeing more of Turton as our defensive option to allow Sorba to just go for it on the attack.
agreed. That's good. Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, I wouldn't change much.
James ain't happy with that. He's gone.
He's like, you want to see more of Turton? Bloody hell.
Well, this is the thing. While James isn't it out, he just hates gingers. You know, that's why he hates it.
Yeah, I'm with Joe there. I think that's kind of why I'm quite excited for Pippa to come back because, will that free up Sorba, won't it? Is that right? Yeah. And that'd be great to see Sorba just kind of only focus. And I know still he's got to focus on the defensive side of things, but it kind of swings more in the favour of the attacking kind of stuff. So that'd be great, actually. That because
right hand side, didn't it? Sorba.
Yeah. Oh yeah, bloody hell. And like you said earlier, Joe, about Pippa coming back. One thing that maybe we don't get enough of is someone just having a pop from about 30 yards out. And all I remember from last season was Pippa cutting inside. And most of the times maybe shanking it, toe prodding it. But it was like that one against Millwall where it wasn't a very good shot. But, I mean, if you have a shot, there's a chance it's going in. Their keeper spilt it and it went in, didn't it? So,
yeah, definitely.
He'd be great when he's back, I think.
Yeah,
how long is it now? He must be getting close.
I think
my footy manager, he came back in January. He was fit again in January.
Let's see how good footy manager is then.
Accurate. They're always pretty accurate.
It's a good point though because Pippa did basically play number 10 at some points as well.
Yeah.
It's in that type of player. So yeah, so we'll see. James, as soon as Joe mentioned Ollie Turton, you left the room in disgust. Is there anything you do differently for this town team, or is it quiz time, do we think?
Nah, not really. Nothing that hasn't already been mentioned, I don't think. So I think I'm happy to proceed. No slight on Ollie Turton though.
Okay, just setting that on the record. But we all saw, you might not have said you didn't like Ollie Turton, but it's very clear.
Yeah, it was pretty out of order, that, James.
Yeah, it's great. I'm expecting a screenshot of your Apple Notes on Twitter in the morning. Apologising. Okay, so it's Christmas quiz time. Let's wrap this up and let's do a Christmas quiz, shall we? None of my questions are particularly Christmassy, but here's an opportunity for Matt, who's going to do the editing. Good old Matt. If you want to put in a little Christmas jingle, you can do now. Last Christmas, I gave you my heart. The very next day, we gave it away. Next year, the same process, I'll give it to David Wagner. If not, it's just left me feeling really awkward with a nice little pause there. But it's time for question 1. So, how this is going to work, I have no idea because I've not actually tested this on any of you if this is going to work in terms of point scoring. But obviously on the warm-up we do trash talks, so I've got a couple of trash talks in here as well as other questions. They do also have a tiebreaker should it get to that. Everyone's going to get a trash talk question. So for question 1, it's going to be directed at James, but people have an opportunity to one-up him if they think they can do better. So we will see. So this could be quite interesting.
Sounds
like
confusing, this
University Challenge, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's Scott with a chance to steal.
So James, Everyone loves the Boxing Day fixture. But for the first Trash Talk question, how many opponents can you remember Town playing from the last 10 Boxing Day fixtures? So it's a tough one straight off the bat. So you just need to give me an opening bid of how many you can name.
How a bid?
Yeah, so you don't have to name the scores, just the teams we've played. So this could be guesswork, to be fair. There were some that surprised me, just if that gives you a little bit of a clue.
It really doesn't, to be honest.
Big clue.
The clue is it surprised me.
We're playing other teams.
I think I can do 2.
2, okay. So James has done 2. Tom or Joe, do you think you could do more than 2?
I mean, I can do 4, I think.
You can do 4, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Joe, can you do 5?
No, absolutely not. I
James,
can't.
can you do 5?
No, definitely not. 5.
Tom's a madman.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Okay, so Tom, it looks like no one's going to challenge you for 4. So there's no time limit for this. It's just if you get it wrong.
Oh, there's no time limit. All right, yeah, okay.
Okay, so
Okay.
4 teams that we've played in the last 10 Boxing Day fixtures.
Right. Preston North End.
Yes, we played them in 2015 and we won 3-1.
Stoke City.
Yep, played them in 2017, 1-1. I believe Ramadan Sabiri.
Yeah, he did. He
scored.
scored. Yeah. Right. This is where maybe I'm on a bit of a guessing game now, though. I'm going to say Blackburn Rovers.
Blackburn Rovers. That is wrong, Tom.
Oh.
No. Okay, I don't know how this is going to work in terms of the quiz, but this is.
So no one gets any points.
I think no one gets any points.
Unless anyone can name more than 2, does Tom get?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah, go on then, Joe. Let's
I'm not a
change
quick
the rules.
master.
No. Let's change the right. Okay, so if you can,
Oh, I know one now. I've just remembered
I've
one. I
got
think.
I've got 2.
Go on, James. What were yours?
go on then. Yeah,
Right. I've got Barnsley.
yeah. In 2020, we lost 2-1. I think it
Yeah.
was last minute that. Yeah.
Nottingham Forest.
Yeah,
in
that's
2016. 2-1.
what I was going to say next.
Can you name one other apart from the ones that Tom has named to win this?
Millwall.
No.
No.
Oh.
Joe?
No.
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 Okay, so no points for that.
Be a
So-
northern one, won't it? Hull.
Okay, shall I read them out?
Yeah, go
so
on.
in 2020, James got it right. Barnsley played Middlesbrough the season before.
Oh, yeah.
Borough.
They lost.
Rubbish, weren't we?
Borough.
Played Man United, lost 3-1. And
We
Boxing-
played them on a. Oh, yeah, it was at bloody Old Trafford, wasn't it?
yeah.
Pogba scored.
Stoke, which Tom
Yeah.
mentioned, 1-1. Forest, one of you mentioned it, 2-1 victory for Town. Preston, Tom, I think you mentioned Preston.
Yeah.
3-1 win. Rotherham, 2-2, 2014. Derby, 1-0, 2013. Blackpool, who were playing on Boxing Day this year in 2012. And Chesterfield, 1-0,
Chesterfield.
2011.
Bloody hell. They were in that league in 2011.
Yeah.
Yeah, I spoke to a Chesterfield fan the other day actually about that. It's weird,
Did
isn't
you?
it? Yeah.
It's really not fun.
Yeah.
I feel-
Yeah. We bonded a bit over Rob Edwards, but yeah. It's bad.
Fair enough. Okay, so it's an opportunity for you all to kind of give your answer for question 2. So Huddersfield haven't scored more than 1 goal in the last 10 games. What game was the last time they scored 2 goals or more? So you can all get the answer, and I'll give you time to think.
I think I've got it.
In the last 10, I think I've got it as well.
You got it, Joe?
Last 10 games, you
Yeah.
say?
Yeah, haven't scored more than 1 in the last 10.
What, when was the last time we scored more?
When was the last time we scored more than 1 goal?
In the last 10 games?
Oh.
Yeah, I think I've got it. I don't know though.
Joe, have you got it?
Yeah, I've got something. Yeah.
Okay, so has everyone got an answer? So I'm going to need you to all be honest here.
Yeah.
Did hands up if you got Hull City 2-0 Huddersfield?
Yeah,
Right, okay, so point.
I remember that.
You remember that because you did your walk.
So bloody knackered.
Oh,
I nearly fell
oh.
asleep at the game. I literally nearly fell asleep in a room full of well, not a room, but a stadium full of shouting Town fans.
Oh, I thought it was Blackburn.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
No, there you go. It was Hull. James, do you want to share a little story of that day? Because obviously you did the Worthington walk. You did the full walk, great effort. But I want you to talk about the time where Boovy saw you with some pints at the end.
Yeah, I was going to mention earlier actually. He's there. So, yeah. But we got told off by Boovy for going the wrong way. I think me and my friend Dan would have ended up in Bradford if it hadn't been for Boovy. So we were saved once again by Andy Booth. And then as soon as we went out the Shay, Boovy had kind of gone, "Oh, do you know where you're going, lads?" We went, yeah, no problem. Turned right, wrong straight away. Mate said, "Yeah, I know where I'm going." Started taking us straight up the main road, which you obviously can't walk on if you know the road between Huddersfield and Halifax. So no, we're a great day overall, like just really good. But yeah, at the end of it, me and my mate went to the Legends bar. Took a little bit too long to get a pint, I must say, but we got one. We got 4 in the end between 2 of us, and then we went over and someone went, "Oh, you need to sign out." So then we just went over a load of drinks, and Boovy just thought that we were a load of yobbos. But I think actually he was quite impressed by our effort and said we deserved a drink. So no, he's a good guy, really good guy, but he did tell us off a bit.
Well, Phil Senior, when he's been on this pod, has said Boovy can't hold his drink. He's a bit of a lightweight, so maybe he was impressed. Who knows? But yeah, Boovy, if you want to come on a drink.
If you want to come for a drink with me.
I want to say.
I was going to say, if you want to come on the pod and drink,
Put that to the test.
Got pints on the pod.
Pod pints. Okay, so question 3 is another trash talk. I'm coming to you, Tom, for this one. So again, people have an opportunity to steal. So how many of Town's top scorers in the league over the last 10 years can you name? So there's 7 different goal scorers. So in the last 10 seasons, we've had 7 different goal scorers. How many of them can you name? Give me an opening bid.
You mean like Town's top goal scorers that year?
Scorers, yeah.
I'm gonna go 7.
You're gonna go all 7?
Yeah.
Really?
Go hard, I'll go home. No, I'll go 5 then.
Okay, 5. James or Joe, can you beat 5? Can either of you go for 6?
Yeah, go on then.
Are you gonna go for 6?
Well, I should have stuck with 7 then.
Joe, can you go for all 7?
Can't do. No, I can only think of 5 in my head now, and I'd be struggling for a 6th.
Okay. So James, again, no time limit.
Go on, James.
If you get one wrong, it will go to Tom or Joe for an opportunity to steal. So whenever you're ready, 6 goal scorers from Town's top goal scorers from
Said that with some determination.
I'm ready.
You look like you're ready.
I'm ready. Just trying to buy myself some more time now.
Yeah, you should have a timer on, to be fair, Brendan.
Come on.
I'm ready.
Whenever you're ready.
Whenever you're ready.
You look like you're ready.
Said that with some determination.
Said that with some determination.
Whenever you're ready. Oh, I'm ready.
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Come on.
I'm struggling. Fraser Campbell.
Bing.
Oh, that's wrong.
No, he's not. Last year.
No.
No. Right.
Or last year. Oh, well, that'd be ruining it for.
That would be ruining it. Okay. So,
Oh, what? After all that?
I'm
So ready.
You said that with some
Bloody hell, James,
determination.
blame me, pitch, ref, players. You want to take a look at yourself because there's some of you that could have done a whole lot better. Okay, so James,
Oh.
6. Tom, you mentioned 5. Joe, do you reckon you could go for 6? Steal it?
I'm backing down because I've just been thinking, and 10 years ago is actually not as far as I thought in my head.
Okay, I'm including.
Strikers way past.
You said, so 10 years ago, Brady, yeah?
The last 10 years, I'm including this season in it.
All right. So Naki Wells, boom, 1.
Okay. Are you going with your 6 or are you going with 5?
I don't know, 5. Yeah, 5.
Okay.
Naki Wells.
Correct. He was the top goal scorer in the 15-16 season with 17 goals and the 14-15 season with 11.
Yeah. Jordan Rhodes.
No.
What, 10 years? Is that, oh, bloody hell. Joe's right. 10 years is.
Not a
Didn't
long
Jordan
time.
Rhodes not sneak in 10 years ago?
Well, I'm including this season. So
Oh, well, you could have said that louder.
I did. So the season goes up to 2012-13. So Joe, can you name 5 to win this? To win this point?
Promotion season, I think.
Hello.
You're on mute, lad. There you
Oh,
are.
I'm on mute, lad. Right, okay.
Oh, yeah, Joe, you could get this.
Go on,
Easy.
Joe.
Okay, so we'll replay. I don't know what's going to happen to the recording. I hope it doesn't bloody lose it.
I can't believe you didn't give me Jordan Rhodes. That's out of order, that.
It was 11-12, wasn't it?
Yeah, I know.
Brady, it said recording has stopped, so surely it's saved it somewhere.
Yeah, it says it's recording again. So
But I mean, the other one, what if it didn't record the last 2 hours?
if not, we'll just do this. Okay. Anyway, we'll carry on. Joe, can you name 5? You can't have Naki Wells because Tom's already picked it.
I'll have a crack. Yeah, I'll have a crack.
Oh, good lad. This is what we like to see. Go on then. 5 other goal scorers.
I'm going to take a bit of a risk on the first one from our Premier League years. I'm going to go for Moy.
No, sorry, mate.
No. Oh,
Kachunga.
Kachunga,
Kachunga 16-17.
Ward,
Yeah.
Danny Ward.
Danny
Grant.
Ward in joint
Yeah.
top goal scorer in 13-14.
Yeah, Carlan Grant as well.
Alan Grant, Mounier, Wardy's top scorer,
Mounier, yeah.
Karama.
And who was our top scorer last season? Little Joshy Karama.
Little,
Oh,
little Joshy. Okay, so no points for that. Hope you guys are keeping
What
score.
about Grant? Didn't cross my mind once.
No.
I've like blanked
He's
him
dead
out.
to you, innit, Joe?
on that other podcast, I just blanked him out. I don't know what it was.
Oh,
He's a
yeah.
very, very forgettable character despite all the goals.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, because every goal was the same, so it basically
Yeah.
basically merged into just one big cutting in and hitting it into the bottom corner.
Yeah. So bloody forgettable scoring goals that kept us up.
It's not good enough, is it?
Nah, shocking.
No.
Okay, question 4. So this is, I'll give you an opportunity to think of an answer. It's just similar to the question before, the well drawn out top scorers. It's well documented that Sorba Thomas was playing non-league football with Boreham Wood in January. Don't know if you guys.
Really?
I know, really, really odd that no one's mentioned it at all. But which Premier League club was he a youth product at?
Oh.
I'm
I've
going
got
to
the answer.
straight away, yeah.
Yeah.
Straight away.
I'm going to give you a couple of seconds to think of it.
Whatever, I've got one on top of my head. I'll just say it.
Okay, so hands up if you got West Ham. Okay, so that's a point for James and Joe. Tom?
So basically, I should just put my hand up whenever you say
It's-
put your hand up, and then I'll get a point.
Tom, this is a podcast of trust. If you're going to be rude about the Christmas quiz and you're going to take it for its advantage, you're not welcome. I don't care if you've got a Christmas hat and on in the background. It's not good enough.
Not in the
Um,
spirit.
we
I
could-
I
next one,
didn't
pay for
I
it.
didn't know. I was gonna guess.
Bit low budget, I don't know.
Paper. All right.
I was gonna guess Arsenal. That was what I was gonna guess.
Oh, okay. Well, you'd know because I'm the Arsenal connection.
The
Trade.
Arsenal.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah.
Okay, Tom, this is a trash talk for you. Question number 5. So
What about Joe? Joe hasn't done a trash talk yet. It's not for me.
he did the trash talk, didn't he? Oh, did
Yeah,
you?
I did the
Yeah,
first one.
Oh, okay, Joe. Yeah, sorry, you're right.
Yeah.
Thank you for keeping in check.
Come on,
Joe.
Brady.
It's been a long pod. So this is interesting because Transfermarkt isn't the most accurate. But according to Transfermarkt, Huddersfield have 11 foreign players in the squad. How many can you name? So when I say foreign players, basically anyone who's not English.
This season.
Yeah. But is this for Joe? I think this is for Joe, isn't
Yeah,
it?
but you didn't clarify which season. I don't think then, Brady.
This
so
season, the current squad. I don't,
just want to be clear there for everyone and the listeners,
all
because I'm
right.
sure they're playing along whilst listening, and they haven't stopped the pod yet.
11 this season.
11. Yeah. How many do you reckon you can name? There might be more to this, as I found out in a later question with Transfermarkt, because it's not always the most accurate. But I'm going to say 11.
Play along at home if you can.
I think I can name 6.
Oh, 6. I think that's the sweet spot.
Yeah.
Some of these are contentious, I might say as well. But 6 is a sweet spot. Can anyone name more than 6?
I think I could name 6, but I could name 7 as a banter.
Are you going to do a
Yeah, I think I'll go for it.
Oh, you're going to go for 7. All right. Joe, do you reckon you could name 8? James, do you reckon you can name 8?
I can't count them up in my head quick enough. I think 8 might be a bit of a push. I think 7 was my limit, really.
Okay. James?
I'm ready.
You ready? Is that bid?
So what are you doing, James? Are you going for 8?
I'm ready. Nah.
Right, you ready?
I can't say you're ready.
All right, I'm ready. Are you ready? Come
The
on.
7, right? 7, Tom. So
Okay.
if you strike out, no time limit.
Vallejo, Pieper,
Yeah.
Sinani,
Yeah.
Nabisar.
Yeah.
I bet he counts as one as Dwayne Holmes.
Yeah. Technically classed as an American.
So that's 5.
That's 5. So you got 2 more.
Oh, 2 more. What you said? Not British, yeah.
Not English. So technically some.
Oh, not English. So Scott High,
Yeah.
and then who's the keeper?
Gal's not English.
The
I don't think that counts.
the Italian keeper. I don't know if he's in the squad. Bellangambi.
He's not.
How do you say it?
He's not.
Oh, he's not on your list. Well, I'm out then.
No, I'll give you another chance.
You'll give me another chance.
Come on. We've talked about quite a few of these players over the past 2 hours or however long this podcast.
Oh, it's got to be another Scottish or Irish, aren't there? Sober Thomas, Welsh.
Yeah, Sober Thomas. I'm surprised you named him earlier. Yep, so that's 7. You could have had Danny Grant. Could have had Jordan Rhodes.
Oh yeah, Scottish. Yeah.
Could have had Meepo, Irish.
Mm.
And according to Transfermarkt, you could have had Nicholas Bilakapic, who's the Australian goalkeeper who's been on the bench when Schofield's been injured.
Yeah.
John Russell's eligible for Jamaica as well, or at least in my Football Manager say.
Oh, well, there you go. The power football manager. Okay. Lovely stuff. Question 6. So there is 4 current Town players who have made over 100 appearances for the club. Can you name all 4? So this is an opportunity for you to list all 4. And again, I will trust your honesty with this one when I reveal the answers. So
Made over 100.
Over 100 appearances.
Okay.
So this is through Transfermarkt, so it might not be the most accurate, but this is the list I've got. I've got 4 players.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've got 4.
Okay. James, have you got 4? My voice went quite high because I was getting excited.
Yeah, I've got 4.
Okay,
I'm ready.
you ready? Well, you look like you're ready. I don't think anyone's going to get this reference. But
You
we're all
said
in.
that with some determination.
Oh, I'm ready. Okay.
When you're ready.
So the first answer with 286 appearances, according to the site I checked, Mr. Jonathan Hogg, the general. Did we all have that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. The next highest with 181 appearances is Wadi, Danny Ward.
Yeah.
We all have that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Mr. Scotland striker himself, Jordan Rhodes, next, 150. Do we all have that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe, like your honesty there. Okay. So James and Tom are still in it. And the last
Ooh,
one,
one more.
he wears factor 50. He looks like Ron Weasley.
Oh,
Yeah.
103 appearances. So Tom, you got that. James, you didn't. So
No.
James, who did you have for your 4th?
I had Fraser Campbell. He's one of
Oh.
our own.
I
I
had
forgot about
Toffolo
Lewis, to be honest.
instead of Rhodes. I thought Toffolo might have racked up over 100.
Yeah.
interesting. I mean, he could. I don't know how
Won't be far up.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, that's the apparent. I'm sure if we are wrong, someone will get in touch and tell us that we're wrong. So please say that.
Very quickly, yeah.
Well, if we are wrong, I still got the point.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so this trash talk is, again, this could be completely wrong. I have tried to double check this with Transfermarkt and the Huddersfield Town Supporters Association Player Heritage website. But this is the information I've got. 15 players have made their league debut for Town in 2021. How many do you think you can name? So James, I think you were first to go, so I'll come to you. How many do you think you can name as an opening bid?
2021.
What, 15 players to choose from?
2021.
10.
10. Oh, okay. Ambitious. Okay. Joe or Tom, can you do more than 10?
No. Didn't like most of them playing that Millwall game at the end of last season.
Yeah, do you mean their first game for Huddersfield or their first ever Football League game?
I mean the league debut, and I'm talking about the year 2021. So not the Plymouth game where we played a loads of youngsters. That won't count.
Right. No, I don't think I can do more than 10, to be honest.
Okay. Tom?
No, go on, James. Go for it.
Okay, so 10. No time limit, James. How many can you name?
So we've got Lee Nichols.
Yep, made his debut in the Preston match on the 17th of August.
Then we've got Matty Pearson.
Yep, made his debut in the Derby game at the start of the season on the 7th.
This is now really reminding me of Countdown.
Yeah.
Tom Lees.
Yep, Tom Lees also made his debut in the Preston game.
Levi Colwell.
Yep, Levi made his debut in the Derby match.
Josh Ruffles.
Yep, Josh Ruffles made his debut on the 28th of September against Blackburn.
Dwayne Holmes.
So Dwayne Holmes is technically made his debut for Town, hasn't he? So so James only managed to name 5 there, so can anyone 6 to steal it?
What, 5 more?
Yeah, or 6 more.
Meepo.
Yeah, against Stoke on the 11th.
Scott High.
No, Scott High made his debut in the Millwall game. So Joe, can you name 6 from the ones we've got left?
Sorba.
Yep, against Wickham in February.
Ollie Turton.
Yeah, in the Derby game.
Did James say Tom Lees?
James did say Tom Lees, but I'll give you another stab just to make it a bit more interesting.
Carol Heiting. Did he join after in January?
Carolina made his debut in 2020, Joe. So, okay, that was a bit of a tough one, to be fair. So
That's too difficult, Brady. Come on.
fair enough. Okay, so you could have had John Russell, who made his debut in the league against West Brom.
John Russell or Josh Ruffles?
Josh Ruffles has already been answered.
You're ruffling or rustling.
I don't think anyone said Sinani, did they?
No.
Oh, no, yeah.
And then these are the interesting ones that I thought would be a bit tougher. I'm sure we all remember it. Yaya Sanogo.
Oh, yeah.
February.
To be fair, if he'd have scored that penalty, it'd have been a different Scott story, I think, for him.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Um,
Can I
Richard
put
Keogh?
one of my obscure ones, Brady, that I was saving for the end if I got there?
Oh, yeah, go on then. What would you have?
I was going to go for Obiero, the striker. He played against Millwall.
Oh, I don't think I had him in my list. That's not to say it could be wrong. Couldn't be right. So I had Yaya Sanogo, Richard Keogh, a top target who we've seen so much of, Rolando Aarons, Patrick Jones, and Kieran Phillips. So that was a bit of a tough one, I think it's fair to say. Okay, this is also a tough one. And this is an opportunity for you all to answer. I feel like Matt always does really tough quizzes, so maybe I took inspiration from him. In 2021, which player became the 1000th player to put all on the famous blue and white stripes in a competitive fixture for Huddersfield Town? So it is this season. Oh, James has already got an answer. So has Tom. Joe? No? Haven't got anything? Do you want to hazard a guess before I reveal the answer?
No, I must have missed the news. I'm sure it got announced who this was, and I just didn't.
It did. It was a big whole thing, those fireworks and everything when it came on.
I can't go to home games, can I? I'm not in the country. I missed all that.
Call yourself a fan. Okay, so again, need your honesty here, lads. Hands up if you got Josh Ruffles. Yeah.
Oh no, I got John Russell.
Oh yeah, Josh Ruffles on the 28th of September against Blackburn, replacing Daniel Sinani.
Did they do fireworks?
No.
No, I made that up, Joe.
I was watching the game.
I mean, Joe, if we want to be that type of fan, we could be like, all right, might as well have been fireworks on social media. How much have you thought about it? Okay. Have we been keeping score here? I don't know if we've.
I've got 3, I think.
I've got 2.
How many you got, Joe?
1 or 2, probably 1.
Okay. Question 9. Huddersfield Town women have drawn which Women's Super League side in the 4th round of the Women's FA Cup? I'll give you a couple of seconds to think of that.
I don't know. I follow them on Twitter and I see everything, but I've not seen anything the last couple of days. When will the draw, Brady? This week?
In the last couple of days. Very well covered there, Tom.
Oh.
Brilliant.
Well, I saw they beat Loughborough Lightning the other day.
Yeah.
3-1.
Luca Baruga.
Yeah, so I do not have a clue who they're playing next. I will do a guess.
Okay. Joe?
I'm
Not sure.
I'm gonna guess as well.
James?
Don't know. Sorry.
Do you want me to say it?
Go on then, Tim.
Oh, did you just say you just said Everton, didn't you?
I didn't say
Is it Everton?
No. What was your guess?
I was going to say Bristol.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, no, Everton. Okay, so we're all still on 3. Well, you're on 3, you're on 2, and Joe, you're on 1 or 2. So interesting. Last question.
I definitely got the Sorba question. I just can't remember if I had any others, to be honest.
Let's say you got 2 just to make it interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Last question. So which player made their debut for the first team, aged 17 years, 5 months, and 7 days under Carlos Corberan? So just to make this clear, this isn't in 2021. This is just in Carlos's time.
I've got something. Yeah.
You got something? Right, okay, James has got his hand up. Tom?
17?
Yep. 5 months and 7 days.
I'll just have to take a guess, but yeah, I'll put my hand up.
Okay.
Go for it.
So, Joe, I'm going to make you say your answer before I reveal what it is because you had an idea.
Pat Jones.
It's not Pat Jones.
Ooh, you want me to say mine?
James?
Is it Brahima Diarra?
It is Brahima Diarra. Is that what you had? Tom, is that what you had?
Oh no, I had Osterfield. Josh
Oh.
Osterfield.
So Brahima Diarra made his debut in the 5-0 defeat to Bournemouth on the 12th of December in 2020. I'm sure we remember that game so well.
Yeah, it was a great game.
Paid a tenner to watch that.
Okay. Right.
So
Okay.
it's a tiebreaker then.
It's a tiebreaker. It's a good job I bloody wrote a tiebreaker. I know we didn't. Okay, so this is between Tom and James. This is to win the warm-up Christmas quiz 2021. So
That trophy.
that trophy. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I don't know if you guys saw, but Emile Smith-Rowe, Huddersfield's very own Emile Smith-Rowe, apparently you can't celebrate having a good loan player who goes on to play for England. And apparently some people took it too far and he's basically been born in, Sissit or,
Back the pause.
Yep. So Huddersfield's very own Emile Smith-Rowe, how many goals did he get during his loan spell at Town?
Oh.
I will take the nearest for this. So
I'm ready.
You said that with some determination.
Okay.
How do you want us to do this, Brady? Do we say it at exactly the same time or what?
I can
I
put
think-
your hands up at the.
Oh, okay. How do we? This is a good point. How do we want to do this? How do we want to build the tension? So,
Well,
Jeff,
you, yeah, that's a good idea. You just say list the numbers, Brady, and me and James will raise our hands when
okay.
That's a very good idea.
Yes. Okay. So I'll count down then. Okay.
Oh,
so
God.
hands up. You had 5 goals. No. 4 goals. No, that's not right. 3 goals. No, it was 2.
It's 2, but I'm
Oh.
closest, aren't I?
So I need to do another tiebreaker. If you
I thought you said closest wins.
No. We'll do a tiebreak. Another tiebreaker. I'm gonna have to think of them on the
Just,
spot.
just wanting to use up all his questions, isn't he?
Okay.
If you're still listening to this, well done.
You're gonna have to release it in 2 parts. Okay. So Danny Ward is Town's top goal scorer this season so far with 5 goals. Who is the second?
I've got an answer, I think. How are you going to do this one, Brady? You can't really count it. You can't count it down.
I don't know. I don't know.
You got any pay? Have you got any paper near you, James?
You're gonna have to reveal your answer.
Yeah.
I'll write. I can write mine down.
Don't have a bloody pen now.
Got the tension here. Are you enjoying it, Joe? Now that you're on the go,
To my seat, yeah.
if you are still listening.
I feel like Joe's gone and held his battle valiantly to the end at Lords, and he's just gone and had a cucumber sandwich and just relaxed now.
I'm nervously watching my battery percentage. It's going fast.
I've got a pen.
You got a pen, right? Okay. Have you got a pen as well, Tom?
Yeah, I've written it down. It's all in there.
Okay. Have you written yours down, James?
Not just yet.
I'm ready.
I'm sure, as mentioned, this episode is sponsored by Magic Rock. So if you're bored, I would suggest going in the fridge and reach for a Magic Rock beer right now, because This is
Come
dragging.
on, James. How
I've
long?
got an answer. Got an
Name's,
answer.
name's not
Okay.
that long, is it?
On three. On
One.
three. You're going to reveal your cards.
Yeah.
Your
Oh, should I have written this backwards though, so it shows up on the webcam?
No, I can work it out. Right,
I'm ready.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Show me your cards. I can't.
Pull it back a bit.
Can you see? Can you see that? There, can you see that yet? There.
Gone back.
Oh, we've written the same. We've written the same thing, Matty Pearson. Oh, bloody hell.
Oh, okay.
Give it, James. Give it, James, till end
No,
of
no, no,
season.
Come on then. Last one. The third highest goal scorer. How this ranks is they've also got the highest assists. So this
Okay.
is 2 goals, but they've also got assists, which ranks them as technically third. So
Okay.
have a guess.
Okay.
Otherwise, Joe's just going to pick the winner if you get this both right or wrong.
I'm ready.
Said that with some determination. Now we go. Okay. James, have you written yours?
I'm ready.
You ready? Yeah.
You don't look it.
He doesn't look it, does he?
Oh no, actually, I'm changing it.
Oh,
I'm changing it.
Changes.
No, I'll stick with it. I'll stick with it.
Never think of yourself.
I'm not changing it. You
Okay.
ready?
Yeah, okay. So we've on 3. So they've got 2 goals and 2 assists. So 1, 2, 3. Reveal your answer. So we do have a winner. Congratulations. You are the winner of the warm-up Christmas quiz for 2021. Josh Carome is the correct answer. It's Mr. Tom Bradshaw.
Well done.
Well done. Bloody hell. We got that. James, how do you feel? Do you want to say congratulations?
Yeah, congrats, Tom. I think that was an attritional game. That well done. I'm feel thoroughly defeated at that.
Thanks, James. It was a really good competition between you and Joe. I just want to say, if Matt wants to cut the whole of that quiz, he can, because that was an hour that you're not getting back, listeners.
Bloody hell, wait to sell it, guys. If you want to, I will actually be posting the quiz online. So if you want to share that with your town friends, you can do that. If they've not listened to this pod, they might do. I wasn't expecting 3 bloody tiebreakers, lads. Oh, Joe's gone, he's had enough. So I think we should call it there. But thanks to Joe, James, and Tom for this. Thanks to all of you who stuck through to the end. Over Christmas, you'll see some little fan chats with some of the fans for these 3 fixtures. But yeah, just keep tuning into this one to hear our thoughts and to hear the nonsense. Hopefully, it cheers you up. But yeah, thanks to everyone who's listened this year. Thanks to the guy, I don't think I've mentioned it on the pod, who thanked me in person at the West Brom game. I don't think I've mentioned this yet. That was really nice. But yeah, thanks to everyone who's listened. Thanks to everyone who stuck with us, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you all.
Up the town.
Thank you very much. Feliz Navidad.